So the NBA after the bubble, after the Lakers won the championship, we wondered what happened to the social justice platform the players had while in the bubble. We understand there's a whole lot happening now, especially 6 days prior to the end of voting. And while several millions of voters already casted their ballots. One of the initiatives by the NBA players and their respective organizations across the nation is to turn their arenas or practice facilities into polling sites, early voting places, election day sites, or even voter registration locations. And so we felt compelled to talk about it because when you talk about the multi-million or even billion-dollar arenas and stadiums being built, that's also your tax-paying dollars. We are still in a pandemic, and these arenas and stadiums offer additional spacing in between people and can hold more people instead of lines being wrapped around buildings or even going out to the street or highway. If you don't think your vote matters on all levels, listen to what happened in Wisconsin. According to the Associated Press article dated October 6th, the Fiserv Forum in Miller Park were going to be turned into polling places, much like those arenas across the nation. There was fear that ballots sent in from those sites could be legally challenged. But the executive director, Claire Woodall-Vog, said the plans were being shelved due to concerns that the sites had been designated later than required by state law. Woodall-Vog also noted that a federal judge in Madison last month refused a request to suspend the June deadline and allow clerks to set up additional sites. I noticed on the news even today, Danny, that in Indiana, that Lucas Oil Stadium where the Colts play may turn into a polling place for election day. And that vote will actually be made this weekend by the county election board. Oh, by the way, Bankers Life arena where the Pacers play, that's already open for voting. Again, these are our tax-paying dollars. It would be very easy for us to have more space, more room, more opportunity to actually vote with these arenas and stadiums pretty much put in place. I recall staying up. It was about 3:30 in the morning. It just so happened to turn on NBA TV. This was the first time that I'd seen a special done on arenas being designated as polling places. It was the first coverage that I'd seen. And then later on in the week, I saw another special on the news about the arena in Houston and how they were actually setting things up, which was absolutely cool. I mean, they made it into a red carpet affair, like literally, like when you go to the premiere of or world premieres of movies and everything, you probably seen it on TV or whatever the case may be. And you see a lot of people taking pictures and all that stuff, Hollywood fans, but more so Hollywood stars on the red carpet, all that stuff. They did the exact same thing. They took that model, took that particular event style, and they actually made it into just a huge premiere of voting. And I saw people actually taking pictures. They had the backdrop, they had a step and repeat, they had the red carpet, all to go out to vote. And I was like, man, how cool is that? I mean, just the fact that they laid the red carpet out for you to go ahead and vote. And then they did a special, they interviewed a voter in LA. And this is what the fan and the voter in LA said. He was like, I never thought I would be this close down to the floor. I can't afford basically the courtside, seats. I can't afford that. I always have been so high up in the nosebleeds or whatever, looking down. This is in LA, so I would imagine that the tickets are pretty up there, right?
Yes.
And he said, this is my first time being on the floor in this arena, and it was for voting.
How cool is that?
And I was like, man, how cool is that? So with that, man, it just made me think even more just how critical and important this move by the NBA players, in particular the Bucks, made to negotiate and demand this. I would be very interested in knowing just how many people, how many voters actually voted in these arenas and stadiums. Look at those numbers. We just need to duplicate that every 4 years, maybe every 2 years, depending upon the activity. But nonetheless, I think this is just a great opportunity for us
Yeah, and I think Jason too, what that did was spur movement across all major sports, not only the NBA arenas, but NFL stadiums, MLB stadiums, NHL as well. Like you mentioned, the early voting, registration, poll worker training. It allows the space, like you said, due to the pandemic, it makes it for at least a safer environment for people to go vote and for the poll workers who are volunteering their time to be in a have more space just due to what's going on. So all in all, it's definitely important. And like you said, hopefully this carries forward as you're leading up to an election. You can allow these facilities to be available for voting and maybe other things as well. And that's where I think these leagues have to look at as they're moving forward. Now it's voting. What's the next thing in line?
Exactly. Exactly.